Hello, my name is Nadine and welcome to Hop Along Studio. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you how you can use your Gelli Prints in a project. Last week I was sharing how to use mini Gelli plates to do printing, and those prints I will be using in today's project. So let's get started. I'd like to go over the products that we're going to be using in today's project. In this case, I'm going to be using a variety of Gelli Prints that I made in my video last week. And the description for that video is in the description below. And I had made a variety of ones with this Hexagon plate that have different values of color and different textures and shapes on them. I'm going to actually be doing a scrapbooking page today, but this could easily be changed into an art journaling page or into a card project depending on what type of focal imagery you want to use. So in this case, I actually cut out a few of my photos in that same hexagon shape, as well as having one photo that is 4x6. I'm also using some of Well Whisper's designs, Strength of the Seasons collection, their Ephemera collection specifically. I really love this collection. I love the sayings that come in this particular set, and I think I need to actually get some more of these soon because I'm almost out of all these wonderful little sayings and beautiful leaves that work so well on so many of my projects. I'm going to be using a combination of art glitter glue and maybe also use the Scotch glue stick as well for this. And I may throw on some sequins and I may throw on some paint depending on how things go. For this project I'm going to be using this Creative Scrapbooker 12x12 Super Stock, and I'm going to start by taking my Gelli Prints and arranging them on the page. So I'd actually done a lot of these prints in my video last week, so I just done them on copy paper and I cut a bunch of them out. Another way you could do this, if you're actually using the small Gelli plate, is you could actually be stamping right on this. The only problem with that is if you do have a misprint, then you need to figure out, if you're unhappy with it, what you want to do about it from there. In that case, that's where it's nice to actually have the prints like this, because then you can rearrange them in any way that you would like, and you can kind of come up with a design. Also, by doing it this way, if you don't have one of the little mini plates, you could use really any gel print for this and just basically cut it out to whatever shape you really want to use it on your project. The other option, if you're not into Gelli printing, what's nice about this is you can really just take any pattern paper and cut it out into shapes and use it for this design. So I really wanted to show you more than one option. You don't have to be using the exact same materials or do the same prints as I am to kind of come up with something that will really work for your project. So I'd also taken some pictures on the day that I went for this walk through Inglewood Bird Sanctuary, and I have some pictures that I've actually cut to the same hexagonal shape as the Gelli prints, and that way I wanted to incorporate them into the pattern as well as have that main focal image. So I'm just going to mess around with these a little bit, lay them out in the way that I think that I would like to have them on the page. So this is the general layout I've kind of come up with that I would like to use for this. I wanted it to kind of move this way. I wanted to have this falling into the rule of thirds, and this is also a group of 3, and that also falls into the rule of thirds on that side. So I really wanted to have groupings, but I also wanted it to feel like it was all part of one piece. And then I think what I'm going to do as well is just add some of my Well Whisper bits to this. I was going to add a title to this page, but I think Seasons Change and So Do We says everything that I really want to say about this page. And then I thought maybe what I would do is just add in a few of these leaves and other things just to add a little bit of variety and texture and interest to this page. So this is generally my overall thoughts on this. So I'm going to start adhering things down and we'll kind of see how things go from there. So one thing I realized that when I decided to do this page like this, when I was cutting out these hexagons, I was not being very careful about exactly the right shape of them. So these are all a little bit wonky. So my solution to fix that is just leave a little bit more space in between some of these. And because I did do these on just copy paper, they have buckled a little bit. So I'm going to try to get them as close as possible. They're not going to be perfectly spaced. The whole point of this was to try to not be so perfectionistic in it, but this is also where maybe doing your own print straight on the paper, you may end up with a better grid and better results. But I'm going to try to use a ruler and just, as I'm gluing these down, try to come up with something that really makes good sense for kind of keeping a more even horizon line. So it's not going to be perfect. Don't be looking for perfect in this. It's just trying to come up with something that will work quite well. And for the actual pictures, I'm actually going to be using my tape runner for, but everything else I'm just going to use regular glue for adhering these down. And you might be wondering why the focus on scrapbooking this week. The Creative Scrapbooker Carnival is in town this weekend, and I'm actually doing some demos at it and volunteering. So I just wanted to do something that kind of was a scrapbooking page for this week, just to maybe just let you know about an event that's happening in Calgary that's really fun and really interesting to visit, and I find quite inspiring. As much as I love painting and everything else, I still love scrapbooking and art journaling and other ways where I can have those creative juices flowing. So I'm going to really enjoy my time there today, and it's going to be really an amazing opportunity to just connect in community with other creative people. And that's why I really wanted to focus on this page, is not being focused on just being one particular type of medium. This doesn't just have to be a scrapbooking page. This could also be a really great art journaling page. This could also be a really nice card. Again, by scaling it up and down, by using pictures or by using other imagery, there's no reason that you can't come up with a really cool design that is easy to do. And I just chose pictures from a really fun day that my husband and I had walking in the park last fall. Inglewood Bird Sanctuary is actually within our city, and it's a beautiful spot to go see some birds. It's a great spot to go take some pictures and go for a beautiful walk. Every time I take friends out to this place, they are always so amazed by just the beauty of it. And they're like, I didn't know this place was in the city. And so it's kind of one of my favorite places to go, just to go for a walk, take some pictures. And with the fall colors, it makes it a really fun place to visit. I'm just using my glue stick a little bit here. Going to give that a try. Again, with these ones, because I'm not looking on adding anything on top, it's easy enough just to use something like a glue stick, which I would usually not tend to use because it's a little less high tack. It's a little bit more low tack, but in this case, it will work perfectly for what I have in mind. I think that's pretty straight, all things considered. I really should have taken a little bit more care when I was doing this page, just to try to have it be a little bit more particular regarding where images were beginning and ending. It's going to continue just to adhere these down, and we'll move on to the next step. So now I've adhered down all of my hexagonal shapes. You'll notice that underneath the picture, I've actually left some spots a little bit funky. The reason for that being I decided I wanted to use this particular pattern again here. And so because of that, I ended up just messing around with it a little bit just to add some spots into it. And so I really did want that group of 3. I wanted it to be coming down this way. And I will also add this picture on top. So just by adding those pictures down, I think this looks pretty good so far. And I'm going to move to some of this art glitter glue for adding in the next pieces. Okay, so I'm going to actually just glue down these embellishments. I found this a little bit challenging to figure out with the leaves how to get this to work in a way that kind of made sense. I was using this art glitter glue just for adhering these down. I find I like this glue because it seems like it keeps things in place pretty quickly, but at the same time it does dry clear, which makes it a really nice glue to use for this. And I'm squishing out a little bit past, so I'm just going to use just a cloth and just wipe up anything that kind of goes past the outline of the image. And so I really like the idea that seasons change and so do we, and I feel like I've definitely been going through more change. I feel like the last 5 years has been a time of a lot of change in my life, and maybe part of that comes down to just making some decisions to be in a better and healthier place that hasn't been an easy transition. By kind of choosing to say no to certain things to be in a better place, it's meant that I've had a lot more transition in my life. I actually just left a job that wasn't really the right fit for me, and I've moved on to something different that is a much better fit. And that change alone, I'm already seeing some of the positive things from that. And I love the idea of fall, the idea of there's so much change and there's that opportunity to have change in our lives if we decide to seek it out. And I really wanted to focus that in this page, that as much as this is a scrapbooking page about my day, just importantly for me, it's also kind of about my life and about the things I experience. And I do love this particular park that we went to visit, the Inglewood Bird Sanctuary, just because of the quietness of the place, the beauty of the place. It's a great place to go and think and just ruminate a little bit on life. Just thought I would add one more onto there. And now I think I might want to fill up some of this white space I don't want to take it over by adding a bunch of color, but I think I maybe want to take a little bit of paint, of some fluid paint, and just add a few little drips and sprinkles onto some of these white spaces. And when you're working with the fluid paint like this, it does move quite quickly, so that's kind of a good thing. It's making very fine little spots on my page. I think I actually wanted this to be a little less fluid, so I'm going to try mixing that. It's a little thing, but I think it adds a little bit to it. I think I'll go in with a little bit of yellow as well. So I thought of maybe adding some sequins, but I think I really am quite happy with where this is at. I didn't want to take away from the white, but I did want to add just a little bit of something onto the surface. After adding the paint, I realized I forgot to add journaling to my page. I do want to keep this as kind of my title for the page, but at the same time, I did want to add in a little bit of journaling. So this area had a fair amount of white space, so I added in a little bit of journaling here. I added it using this Gelli Roll orange and silver pen. What's nice about it is it gives you the silver inside and the orange edges. So it's nice and subtle. It doesn't take away from the other things that are going on this page, but allows me to say a little bit of my story on the scrapbooking page. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you learned something new from this video. There's lots of ways you can use Gelli printing in your projects. I have also done a few other videos about how I use Gelli printing in my projects, but I wanted to show you kind of a step-by-step approach today about how I actually use them when I'm kind of working through that creative process. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, if you could like it, subscribe to my channel, and provide a comment below about what you liked about this video. Also, if you have any questions about Gelli printing or how to use Gelli printing in your projects, please leave me a note below in the comments. I would love to start a conversation with you. I have included the supply list below. You can also find the supply list as well as pictures and written instructions on my website, hopalongstudio.com. There I also have other articles and ideas on how to build a creative self-care habit in your own life. If you are interested in any of the Wild Whisper Designs products, please use DT Nadine at checkout. That will give you 10% off of your next order on the Wild Whisper Designs website. I hope that you have a really great week and that you take some time for some personal self-care. I will see you next time.